Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Before you give up, pause. The very thing that you're crying about today may be the thing that Allah is preparing you for tomorrow. Every great story begins the moment someone thought that their journey was over. Don't let this be the part where you quit. I'm Aisha and I help overwhelmed Muslimas succeed. And in today's episode, inshallah, we'll be looking at 5 reasons why you shouldn't quit, even though you might think you really want to. Before we begin, don't forget to download my free printable planner on www.cupofparenting.com/planner. Reason number 1 not to quit is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees your effort. Even when no one else notices, Allah does. Every small act of patience, every tear, every quiet prayer, it's all being recorded. Don't forget in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, interpretation of the meaning, indeed, Allah does not allow the reward of those who do good to be lost. So if you have the correct intention, you're putting the effort in and you're working hard, don't ever think that it's going unnoticed or that it's just a waste of time. Trust the unseen results. Reason number 2 is that your test has purpose. Struggles are not punishments. Rather, they are invitations to grow closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And, sometimes what might feel like a delay or a hardship could be a preparation for you from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for what's to come, which obviously we don't know, do we? Think about how the different anbiya, how the different prophets, how the different messengers really went through their own trials and tribulations and did have to be patient and not give up. There are so many examples, subhanAllah. Think of Yusuf alayhi salam and how many years he spent in that prison, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was preparing him for the end part when he came out, and we all know the beginning of the Surah Yusuf. But think about prior to that, everything that he went through from when he was just a little boy to when he went through his whole incredible story, subhanAllah. So don't ever think that you're alone, because if the messengers and the prophets were tested in this way and they didn't give up, subhanAllah, we shouldn't either. And remind yourself that Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam showed incredible perseverance during those difficult years of hardship. He was betrayed by his own brothers, the ones who were supposed to love him and take care of him. He was thrown into a well. He was sold into slavery. He was imprisoned unjustly, but he never gave up. He didn't quit. And he didn't give up in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's plan. His patience and trust led him from that lowest point of his life, imagine how he was feeling, to becoming a leader in Egypt, subhanAllah, in a position of power. And this proved that steadfastness can turn trials into triumph, subhanAllah. And then imagine Prophet Yunus alayhi salam, another really famous example that a lot of you will be familiar with. And what does that teach us about resilience and keep going? After his moment of hardship, when he was literally inside the belly of a whale, the famous story, even when he felt completely trapped alone, subhanAllah, imagine being out in the middle of the ocean in the belly of a whale, subhanAllah. And what did he do? Did he give up and say, I think I'll quit because this is the end point? No, subhanAllah. He turned back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with humility, with sincerity, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rescued him. And his story reminds us that even when we can feel overwhelmed or stuck, that we're not going anywhere, turning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and continuing forward with renewed faith leads us to relief and to new beginnings, inshallah. Think of Prophet Noah alayhi salam, who did da'wah for 950 years, subhanAllah. Imagine at some point he decided he was going to give up because it wasn't working. So we must keep going, inshallah. Reason number 3, and I feel like this is the most important reason you shouldn't give up, is because you, yes, you are an example to others, to your family members, to your children, to your siblings, to people in your community, inshallah. And when your children, your family, your friends see you keep going with tawakkul, inshallah, especially your children, they will learn resilience through you. They will know that no matter what, my mom didn't give up. My parents didn't give up. They kept going even when times were hard, even when times were difficult, even when things weren't going to plan. They had full trust on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They had the correct intentions and they kept trying. They didn't give up, subhanAllah. So even though you might feel like this is a difficult and hard time for you, think of it from someone else's perspective who's watching you, okay? Think of your children watching you and thinking that, subhanAllah, this is really inspirational. This person, my role model, is not giving up. Reason number 4 is that setbacks don't define you. And Failure doesn't mean you're finished. It means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might be redirecting you for something that wasn't even meant to be in the first place, or that wasn't going to be beneficial for you in the long run. Maybe it was even going to cause you harm, but we couldn't foresee that. So reflect on the concept of qadar, trusting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's perfect plan, even though we can't see it yet. So think about this as well and keep going, inshallah, and don't give up. And reason number 5 is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promises us ease. And in the famous ayahs of Surah Al-Inshirah, interpretation of the meaning, indeed with hardship comes ease, and with hardship comes ease is actually repeated twice in this surah, and some Mufassirin have interpreted this as meaning that for every hardship that you go through, inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make the easiness twice for you in relation to the hardship. So you'll get 2 times easiness, inshallah. So even though you might be thinking, well, it's hard right now, I'm not in any easiness, don't give up, because maybe this easiness will come through ways you don't even expect. Maybe suddenly you'll have some growth, or you'll be in a financially better position, or you'll find a new path, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestows something for you at times you weren't even expecting or imagining it. And I know this to be true for so many people, subhanAllah, that they were just patient, they were in a difficult situation, but they never gave up. And suddenly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opened doors for them that they couldn't even imagine from themselves. So don't give up before your dua is answered, inshallah. It might be closer than you think. So finally, I'll leave you with this thought that sometimes the hardest moments that you might be experiencing in your life, in which you're probably thinking, I want to give up, I don't see where this is going, I'm not getting anything out of this. These are the ones that shape you the most as a person. When everything feels heavy and you're tired of trying, remind yourself that there's growth hidden inside the struggle. And I always say that even if things don't go to your plan or the way you wanted them to go, it doesn't mean that they haven't developed and grown you as a person. We always say that everybody learns from their mistakes, and your mistakes also shape you. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't place you in a position to break you, subhanAllah. He is, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. He puts you in position to build your strength within you that maybe you didn't even know you possessed, that you had that strength within you. And sometimes, we wouldn't work that extra bit harder or put that much more effort in if things were easy. But when they're a bit of a struggle, then you tend to change, don't you? That's when your determination and your grit comes out, inshallah. So this is strength that you might not even known that you had. Okay, so every step you take, no matter how small, is proof that you haven't been defeated. You're still here, you're still trying. You hopefully, inshallah, haven't given up yet. So don't give up, because your effort is seen, your pain is known to the Creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and your reward is already written, subhanAllah. So imagine when that, you get the fruit of your labor, your hard work and your resilience, and it pays off. Then go backwards and imagine, subhanAllah, imagine that I had given up and I hadn't kept going. So tell yourself, inshallah, that the reward is there and you will be rewarded, inshallah, and you are going to get to the end point, whatever that might look like for you, and you are going to keep going, inshallah. I hope this has been useful for you. If it has, why not watch my next video on how to maximize the remainder of 2025. Until next time, inshallah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.